I'm a hemp farmer. I have held the hemp license, just jumping into like the nitty gritty.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, I got licensed to grow hemp in 2018. I was awarded a license through the Department of Ag and Markets, and I met a group of Amish, and I partnered with them, and I have now 10 locations under my license with maybe 6 others pending. Excuse me, and I also have been allowed a conditional, or I qualify for a conditional license to grow adult use marijuana.
Ooh,
Wow.
nice.
So all right, let's go all the way back, right? What got you here? Like, what made you want to do this and pursue this avenue and owning a hemp farm? How did you partner with Amish, the Amish to get this done? Like, how did it start?
Well, what got me here is I'm a cannabis user, and when I got my medicinal card, I went to the dispensary and I spent $1,000, and I knew at that point that a disadvantage of me spending my money and not making any money, and that amount of money, I had to do something about that. So that was in 2016, and then I started looking into the laws and the regulations on how I can become a grower, because I wanted to be the source. And then that was the main reason why I got into the business.
Gotcha.
You
just spending too much money.
Yeah, and not
front.
being a part of it, and then
On these trees.
Yeah,
Yeah, hell yeah.
and you shouldn't have to pay that much money for
That's a lot of
medicine,
fucking money,
right?
man.
Yeah,
Yes,
it is.
especially if was it covered under health care?
No, so that's the shit. Excuse me, can I curse?
Nah, yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
No, that's the shit. So I'm in there with like my prescription card, my insurance, thinking they're gonna say, okay,
$20.
no, yeah, something, a copay.
Right.
$9.84, I think 76 or something like that. It's a stack.
Yeah.
Any way you look at it.
Yeah.
But my dumb ass going, I want one of you, one of you, one of you.
hell
Give
yeah.
me one of everything. It's legal.
Right.
This is the medical part of it.
Right.
And it was under the Compassionate Care Act in which I got this card. But I mean, I said all that to really say, like, at that point, the light bulb went off. Like, this is what you need to be doing. You spend a lot of money and a lot of time with it. Why not get involved in the business?
Right. So then, what was your next steps after that? Like, did you do like research on it?
You have to go to school to learn how to grow, or like
Yeah.
No, well, my school was the community garden, so I am a coordinator of a community garden in the Bronx, and then I'm a member of another. So my first step was like, I got to get more familiar with the dirt. So
Right.
I just walked my community, and within a 500-mile radius, just went to every community garden, begged them to let me in, and it was these 2 old ladies that many times they told me no, and one day I guess she was tired of pulling the hose and waved me to come on in. So these
So you say garden, like, what was they growing, like?
Oh,
regular
fruit and vegetables.
Okay, they wasn't growing like weed and nothing.
No,
Okay.
because it's community garden. You can't grow. It's through a land trust, through New York Restoration Project, one of them, and then the other one is through Green Thumb, through Parks and Recs.
Okay.
So it's public property, but no weed. But if you can grow a good tomato, you can grow some cannabis, right?
that's fire. I like that.
So, and
That a shirt.
yeah. And put this on the shirt. I beg your pardon. I'm in the garden, because that's where it started. And that's like a saying. My niece would be like, "Where you at?" "I'm in the garden." I beg your pardon. I'm in the garden. But it was one of those things that I just got involved in the community garden. I spent countless hours just in the garden, learning about compost, learning about dirt, and familiarizing myself with the laws in cannabis in New York, and seeing how I can get in. The Compassionate Care Act was closed, and in addition, it was like a $225,000 license fee, which no one that I know 10 people that make 6 figures and they don't have, the money, cash, to be able to put that application. Right. So that was one of the barriers. In addition to that, it was closed in New York. So I started looking at other states. I see where Baltimore, they had discriminated against black and brown people. So the United Black Caucus got involved. So I was writing my application for Baltimore. And then I had a friend that told me about the hemp program, and he sent me the commodity report. And once I read the commodity report that Cuomo put out, and I think this was probably like maybe 17 or somewhere around there, I said, oh shit, this is my ticket in. And I revised my whole plan, my whole application process. Instead of a pharmaceutical medical, it became industrial hemp, CBD and shit like that. Okay. So that's how I was able to get licensed early on with the hemp.
And what's the report you referred to? The
Commodity report. You know, every governor puts one out, and Cuomo put one out, and he had been talking about hemp. By this time, universities and I think small businesses were beginning to get licensed, but they were mainly allowing licensing through the Department of Agriculture.
Mm-hmm. So what was the capital for you to get your license though? Was it the full $250 something like that? Like
No, this was $500. So it went from being a $500 investment with the hemp license as opposed to $225,000.
Right.
For the and then it was they kept mentioning that it would open again, but they capped it. So it's only 10 ROs that's registered under the medical in the state of New York. Wow. And when I seen that, I said, well, who the hell gonna grow the weed but the hemp farmers? So I already knew that at some point they would have to allow the people that have already been dealing with the plant to be one of the first to grow
Somebody
it.
who knows
That's
about
smart.
it and everything.
Yeah. So it's just, you read between the lines and understand the context and the clues and the context that you read, some shit that you can figure it out. Like your 800-page book, you know what I'm saying? Same shit,
So after getting the right licenses and the permissions, what was the next step for you? Were you like looking for farmland, or were you like where did you grow your first plant?
Well, just to give a shout out,
because you got to learn that, right?
Yeah, of course. And where I'm gonna get the seeds from?
Right.
Right.
That
was gonna be my question. Like, where you getting your shit from?
Oh man, it's amazing when I tell you this. You're not even gonna believe it. So it was a guy by the name of Dennis Derrick. Right. He owns a farm named Corbin Hill Farms, and he gave me the opportunity to lease his land. And he gave me the land.
Where's it at?
Upstate New York, Sloansville. You know, just quiet as it's kept. The hemp is not, But anyway, but that's my headquarters. So, but I'm just joking because it's like, it's one of those things, you don't want to disclose where exactly, because then you have people coming, wanting and it's like,
I didn't ask the address. I said
where. Right. So he gave me the opportunity to lease his land. Mm-hmm. So this will be kind of like my first build out on his land. So he also invited me to a conference about hemp. So now I had the license. I'm like, oh shit, what to do now? They gave me the license. Yeah. No land, no,
seeds, no product.
Right. So how was I going to really be able to pull this off? So he sent me a flyer to an event that was going on in Fonda, New York, that was hosted by Cornell University. And I went to that event, and that's where I met the Amish. But I didn't know that they were in the room. It was like 150 people in the room. I was the only one in the room with the grow license and the processing license. Everyone else was trying to figure out how they can get it. Mm-hmm. And I just seen like these hats like lined up on the wall. I'm like, damn, that was so cool hats. I didn't know I'm just looking at the hats and I'm like, yo, those are some cool hats, But never knowing that I'm in the room with all of these plain people. And they were right there in the room with me, but I'm more focused on what's being told to me.
Business.
Yeah. So then it's like an event from like 9 in the morning to like 4. So we took a break, and then everybody.
What event is this now? I know you said the name, but like.
Yeah, Cornell. So Cornell University, and Larry Smart. I have to mention him with Cornell and the hemp program. He's been a great help to my whole project. Mm-hmm. People directly supported me in ways that a gift from God, because it would not have happened with the support of these people.
Right.
So I'm seeing these hats, and right at the end, everybody was gathering to leave. So I start seeing these hats being removed by these little people. So I'm not.
So these hats wasn't even on people's heads. They were like hanging.
They were like hanging on like a coat rack or a book. Like
because they take their hat off.
Right. The world was different. They are the best. I love them. But so as I'm seeing them leave, I was about to sing my song, I'm a runner, I'm a track star. I ran behind these people, like, here's my business card. I'm just giving them my card, just running behind every one of them. Running like, hey, it's me, the black girl with the license,
Right.
So I gave them my card. They reached out, and now I have to convince the state to say, okay, I'm the license holder, but these are my growers. So I need to add their locations to be able to grow this stuff. Mm-hmm. there was a lot of pushback because I guess prior partnership agreements didn't work, and I had to kind of give them like a whole report written on how, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one that was fighting for this program to allow other growers or other locations, but they allowed, so February I met them, and I think in June or July they gave me the okay to say,
That's not bad.
yeah, so it was,
Not too bad.
but, and when they gave me the okay, by that time I've had a meeting with them. I knew who was going to grow. I knew what they was going to grow, what the locations were, and everything that I needed to do an amendment to my application. And in the amendment, I was able to add 10 locations. Wow. And that's how we got started. And they have been awesome. So just the community, just having them work together when it comes to, sharing machinery and different equipment that we would need to farm their community, and this is what they do. So me bringing in another crop, because they don't look at it as marijuana, they call it green corn, but they look at
that's fire.
Yeah, that's fire. They call
Yo,
it
no
green
longer
corn.
be calling it Zaza. It's the green corn, bro.
Yeah, it's the green corn. So they,
dope.
they look at it like a crop. So they just grow it. They're not concerned about what